Hello and welcome to latest edition, and here's a live edition then, latest edition of Last World Boxing, joined by regular Sean. How you going, Sean?
Yeah, good. Thanks, mate. Yourself?
All good, thank you, all good. So today's topic is, will Sky Sports renew with BOXXER? Ben Shalom's out and about doing the media circuits at the minute, talking about how he wants to put his end of year schedule together. But I would suggest he hasn't quite got that contract over the line yet, or I think he would be announcing a lot more than he is. You could argue Sean is flattered to deceive in certain territories, and also certain fight nights maybe flopped on Sky. And he's got that burden on his back regarding Eddie Hearn, hasn't it? Eddie was a previous promoter. He's probably the best showman at what he does. So give me your thoughts.
Yeah, it's really interesting. As you say, Carl, he has sort of flattered to deceive quite a lot for me. I think when he first sort of was announced with the contract with Sky, I think it was Calm Brook was one of his first big shows, wasn't it? And people thought, oh, hang on, let's give this guy a chance to see what he can do. But sort of from there on in, it's just been a bit flat, and I don't know if it's because of the pundits they have or if it's just the quality of the fights. It just seems a bit boring and cumbersome watching boxer shows for me, to be honest. And I know Sky sort of in the past, and I suspect they still do now, have their numbers given what size platform they are, but they can't really be too happy with the product that's put on there because they pride themselves being sort of the global home and the biggest broadcaster for sport in this country. Yeah, the boxing quality, it's just not up to standard for me, to be honest.
But you only get what you pay for, Sean, don't you? And obviously, in the days of Barney Francis, when he was convinced by Eddie Hearn to give him the contract independently, and he threw quite a lot of money at it. Obviously, it's not in the public domain, but I would suggest BOXXER's budget is nowhere near what Eddie Hearn was attracting. And Eddie Hearn has been on record as saying the reason why he actually went to DAZN was because the boxing budget was decreasing year on year. So I do wonder where Sky prioritised boxing.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a report, I think it was in the Boxing News, maybe a month ago now, so it was suggesting that a deal was imminent between BOXXER and Sky for an extension. But I just don't think the stable's that great what he's got, and even he's sort of top stars, if you like, they'll be put on the Saudi shows and Riyadh cards, so he's not left out. So yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see if it is renewed, what fighters he can prize away from the big guys if he can, and how he can attract big shows. I mean, I don't think he's done a standalone pay-per-view outside Riyadh season for the last maybe 6 months to a year, perhaps.
And it's not lost on me when you got people like Liam Smith coming out and being very critical in the way he managed his career and promoted him during his time at BOXXER. That's quite damaging for your brand, isn't it? Because obviously Liam's got a lot of credibility in boxing circles.
Yeah, I think even with Chris Eubank Jr., which I guess you would say is his marquee fighter now, from sort of rumblings and reports I've heard, Shalom's essentially he's glorified admin assistant, so he's not really too involved in there. He's just got his name sort of linked to Eubank, but I don't think he's got any big stars. I mean, who would you say would be the next breakout star? Ben Whittaker, maybe.
Callum from Barnsley.
Yeah, Callum Simpson. Yeah, that's a good shout. But I don't think they've got anyone. I mean, back in the day when Eddie Hearn was there, you had multiple, didn't you? You had Anthony Crolla, Scott Quigg.
Yeah.
The list goes on. Kell Brook. There's just not that really list or depth in his stable to be able to do the big shows like that, I don't think.
The question for me, Sean, is he in danger of becoming a feeder promoter?
Yeah, I think he is. I mean, from reports, I mean, the fighters he has looked in the contract, they're hard to escape from. But I think he's just very, very much a B League promoter in the sort of A League sport, I think is the best way to describe it.
I'm a bit torn on him though, because you've got to give him flowers for how far he's come, because he portrays that he's done it the hard way, right? He's been on things like Lad Bible, Spike, Channel 5, and then he got the Sky contract. He's done boxing events, but tried to be innovative. That's easy for you to say on Saturday morning. But do you think he's reached his level, Sean?
Yeah,
Not a
I
great talker, right? Not a great talker, not a great presenter.
Yeah, I mean, he seems quite uncomfortable to me when he's interviewed and when the cameras are on him. So I think probably he could do with someone being the spokesman and the person and the face of BOXXER. Then he can do the sort of promotional stuff, as it were, and the job he's probably good at what he does. I just think he lacks a bit of charisma, sort of Frank Warren, Sowell, and Eddie Hearn. They've got it in bucketfuls, and I think a bit like Dana White. He isn't the promoter of the UFC. He's just like the voice and the guy that they put
Yeah,
out there. I think if he had someone like that for him, potentially that could be a big improvement.
yeah, because even Frank has Dev, don't he? You know,
Yeah,
so yeah, I see where you're coming from. If we fast forward 12 months, Sean, are BOXXER still on Sky?
I think they will be just purely because a bit like we touched on with TNT. I think Sky's a bit more desperate for boxing, given the sort of lack of sports that they have. They've just lost another contract. I think it's for golf to DAZN. So I think they'll be desperate to keep the fight nights in the hope that they'll get their standalone pay-per-view shows still somewhere. But I'm not hopeful the quality will improve that much.
Could Top Rank, obviously Top Rank already got a relationship with Sky Sports, as in Michaela Mayer's fighting tonight against Sandy Ryan, so they're already broadcasting some of the fights. Again, like we said in previous videos, the UK market's quite an attractive one for the US, isn't it? Because we're a different breed in terms of fans and the numbers that watch if you build the right narrative.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting with Top Rank too is their deal with ESPN's coming up, so they're going to need a broadcaster.
Yeah.
So if they would go with Sky and maybe Sky can give them some US dates and they become the main promoter, I could see that happening. But I guess it just all depends how long Bob Arum wants to go on for. Is there someone waiting in the wings to take over? I guess it's all up in the air with that.
Depending on what the budget looks like, it is a lucrative opportunity, Sky, isn't it? Great platform, a lot of Premier League games, especially Saturday evening that lead into fight night, which historically have done well. So if you're a Top Rank executive, depending on what they're going to give you for fight nights and how many dates, BOXXER might have a problem on their hands, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, even for the Americans that Top Rank promote, they probably will get just as good gate over here and more viewership if they'd sort of bring them over here and have them on a UK times rather than the Americans because of how love boxing is here. I think it gets a bit saturated in the States, so potentially BOXXER could have a big problem on their hands.
Yeah, the only challenge with Top Rank is the time zone, because obviously American fight fans, North American fight fans tend to whinge about having to watch fights in the middle of the day. So that's possibly one challenge. However, the American fight fans are big into the heavyweight division, and the UK is where the heavyweight division's at the minute, right? Apart from music, obviously. So the more I think about Top Rank, the more I think it could be a possibility.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think potentially they're in talks with DAZN as well. I
Who's
think
not?
it's yeah. I think it's sort of July from what I read that they'll officially enter ESPN. So, I mean, I can see sort of DAZN becoming the monopoly really for all the promoters and it becoming the one channel and one hub for boxing, and then maybe Ben's just on the outside on Sky.
Right, Sean, we'll see how this one plays out. It's going to be very interesting next few months regarding in contracts and broadcasting deals, etc., etc. So thank you for your input.
Thanks, mate.
Like, comment, subscribe. Post your views below if you agree or disagree. This has been Last Bell Boxing, proudly sponsored by LW Lipton's SC Trouble. See you on the next video.